All right, so in not all scenarios, there are going to be sine law scenarios, okay? So not all oblique triangles can be solved with the sine law. Because what if I'm given all three sides and no angles? I can't use the sine law. Sine law says I have to have two angles in any side or two sides and an opposite angle. What if I have two sides and not an opposite angle? Would I just sit and watch? No. There is a law. Okay, there's another law that we can use with oblique triangles that can solve for the other scenarios. And it's called the cosine law. Okay? So the goal is to find the measure of sides and angles in oblique triangles using the cosine law now. The cosine law states that in any oblique triangle, you can solve for the third side given two sides, and you must also know not only the two sides, you must know an angle, but in this case, you must know the contained angle. Okay? So what I mean by contained angle is by the angle between the two given sides. Hello? Can you? Yes, you can. Okay, so if I'm given these two sides, right, and I'm given the angle right in between them, right? Remember, with the sine law, if I had the two sides, I must have one of the opposite angles. In this case, I don't have the opposite angle to any of the given side. I have the angle between the two sides, okay? So in this case, I have, let's call it B, C, A, yeah? And then B, sorry, this is C, and this is B. This is a little delayed here. Okay? So in this case, I am given angle A, side C, and side B. Okay? I can't use the sine law in this case. The law is the cosine law. And in the cosine law, I can find the third side. Okay? In this scenario, I can find side A. Okay? And the law says, it does act like this when I have the record on, so what happens here is the formula is a squared equal b squared plus c squared, because I know b and c, minus 2bc cosine angle A. So I know b, I know c. B and c, again, I know, and I know angle A. Okay? So I can plug them in and solve for side A. Okay? Now this is going to solve for a squared. So at the end, I'm going to have to square root to just find A by itself. Okay? So the formula, now what if I want to find side B? What if I know side A and side C, right? And angle B, and I want to find side B, right? The only thing that changes are the letters, right? So in this case, the formula becomes like this. B squared equal A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cos angle B, right? Because remember, if I know the angle, I can look for the side, the left side, right? The side that's left over, sorry. So always the side that you're looking for and the angle that you know, they're going to match. Can you tell me what the last formula is going to be? The one where I'm finding C.
C squared. A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cos C.
All right? The second scenario is if I know all three sides. Sorry, guys, this is not working properly. So if I know all three sides, okay, then I can solve any of the angles. I can pick. Or if the question tells me what it is, then I have to look for it. Okay? And this formula comes from rearranging this formula. There is a mistake here. It should say 2BC, not ABC. So please fix that. Okay? So this comes from rearranging the formulas on the top. All right? So cos A equals to B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC. Always, always, eyes on me for a second, please. You see this angle? It's going to match with whatever letter you're subtracting, okay? So you're subtracting A squared is because it's cos A, okay? So in this case, cos B is equal to A squared plus C squared minus B squared over 2AC. Okay? And then for cos C, equals to A squared plus B squared minus C squared over 2AB. Okay? In this case, because I'm looking for an angle and it's cos, so don't forget that you need to do cos inverse at the end. Okay? So at the end, after you find your answer, after you do your answer, you're going to have to do cos inverse. All right. So the conditions to use the cosine law, you know two sides and the contained angle. Okay, so write that, please. Or you know all three sides. Okay. I find it always easier to look at my scenario and see if it's not cosine, then I know it's not sine, because with cosine, you must have either all three sides or the two sides of the contained angle. So it's pretty straightforward. So if it's not this, then it will be sine. This is how I feel. But again, it's up to the person. So for this question, it's asking you to find the measure of angle C. What do I know here? I know all three sides. Okay? So in order for me to be able to solve, I know I'm going to use the cosine law, right? And I'm going to use the second formulas, right? So that's going to be cos C equals to, let's name this. That's side C, that's side D, and that's side B. Okay? So, cosine C equal to B squared plus D squared minus c squared, yeah, equals, over 2BD, yeah. Now you're going to plug in your numbers, okay? Remember that whatever is minus, they have to match, the letter here have to match the angle that I'm looking for. So equals, B is 650 plus 500 squared minus 750 squared over 2 times 650 times 500. So here's what I want you to do. When you have questions like this or like formulas like this, and it depends on your calculator, but what I want you to do is I want you to find the top first, write it down, find the bottom, write it down, then divide. So you can eliminate any mathematical calculation error. Okay? So find the top and tell me what the answer is. Sorry, I did not hear you. 110,000? I don't know. I got 110,000 for the top. I'm doing everything together. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do everything together. That's fine. But as long as the top. Yeah, add and subtract. And then for the bottom, that should be 650,000. Now you can do the top divided by the bottom. And that gives you 0.1692. Okay, remember that this is not my final answer. I'm looking for an angle, and I have cosine C equals to this. So what you have to do cos inverse. And that should give you an answer of 80 degrees. Okay, and that is the answer for this. All right. So the important thing that I want you guys to remember is find the top, find the bottom, then divide. Otherwise, a lot of times what happens is in the calculator, people forget to put brackets and whatever, and then what happens is this will be divided by a 2, and then everything will be multiplied, and then the answer is going to be messed up and wrong. So that's why I want you to make sure that you find the top, find the bottom, then put them together. Okay? I'm going to stop this recording.